right, we're back. It's the Raspy Voice Kids. I'm by myself once again. This is Brandon, a.k.a. I Also Hate Pitt. And today, we're bringing on Chris Hall from WV Nation. Chris, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited. I usually watch you guys. I'm actually excited to be on the show now.
Yeah, man. And we've done a lot of cool things together. You were with me during our first Media Pass day down on the field. We were together at Snowshoe for the WVU alumni camp. We were on your show then. We've been on your show a couple times now. And we're always taking pictures like at Fan Day. We talk on Twitter all the time. He's just a good dude. If you're not following him, you need to follow him. Chris, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at WV Hallbilly, HALLBILLY.
Listen to that, WV Hallbilly. So you want to check him out, especially if you're trying to find out about WVU. Now, we want to get your thoughts, because I just talked about Kansas in a previous segment. You guys have already seen it. We talked about Kansas in a previous segment. We did a little bit of a review. I gave my thoughts. I gave my feelings. I told the people how I felt about everything that happened. We want to hear what you have to say. What was your general takeaway from that game?
My takeaway from every game basically so far this year has been the defense. Defense is definitely a problem. Kind of saw the running defense before this game. Look, they ranked 9th in the Big 12 in rush defense coming into this game. Wasn't really
9th out of 10 teams.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 teams. That obviously not good. Not good at all. And especially if you look at the caliber of opponents that they played in the previous two games, that number, they shouldn't have been that bad. So you didn't expect Kansas to really run on them the way they did. You know, you kind of knew about Khalil Herbert. He was kind of a home run hitter, but you think they could contain him. And really, defense has been a problem, but in the same breath, you have to realize how young this defense is. Still trying to come together. And if anyone knows how to run this 3-3-5, probably the best to do it in the country is Tony. Thank goodness they have a bye week. Yes. They need it. I'm getting ready to actually work on an article right before I was actually talking to you. We were doing our podcast, and I've been working on an article today, how much the defense improved last year from the bye week to the next game. And, you know, funny enough, who did we play? One of the bye weeks was TCU, and they shut down that TCU offense. So I'll definitely have that article up, but give him time. Once David Long comes back, I know everyone's hyped about Dylan Tonker right now, but everyone's got to remember he's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
They're not fighting off their blocks. Benton definitely needs help there in the middle. David Long will definitely provide that help. And the secondary is starting to come together. Look, they found Kenny Robinson in the corner. He's doing a pretty good job. And, I mean, really, it's just the defense. Now, the offense looks good. Obviously, they did not look good the third quarter. Getting shot out the third quarter, not good.
You think that was an aberration, though? You think that was just an aberration?
Yeah, but here's the real problem with that is I think it was last week they did pretty good out of halftime, but the first two games they didn't come out very good after halftime. That's something else that they're going to have to fix. Getting started at the game and coming out after halftime, restarting those engines. Something that they're going to have to fix. But, I mean, the offense put up 49. Obviously, the defense had a pick six. Mike Daniels Jr., with talent on offense, you kind of expect them to score every possession.
Yeah, that's how we get spoiled. We get spoiled.
Yeah, you get spoiled, absolutely. So, I mean, they have the potential to put up 70 points a game. Yeah, pretty much Will Grier pretty much runs this offense as about as good as you can run it. So it's mainly just the defense. And again, I do have faith in Tony. I know I talked to your brother on Twitter about it.
Yeah.
Just got to have faith in it.
My brother is not – he had a lot to say, and unfortunately he couldn't be here tonight. He had a lot to say. Al-Rashid Benton had 11 tackles, 1 for a loss, and an interception, and Jeremy felt like he could have played better. He felt like there were a lot of plays that he overran, a lot of holes he didn't fill, and as good as he is with this young of a defense, we need that fifth-year senior to be even better, which is a lot to ask.
Yeah, it is. But I agree with him.
I agree with him too. And that's not to say we don't like Al-Rashid. That's not to say he's not working hard. No. But he's missing plays that he could make.
No, and that's where David Long will come in, make a factor. The big problem with this defense, they're just not in the backfield enough.
At all, except for Lamont McDougal. Savage.
Lamont Savage. Absolutely, that kid's been nothing but a workhorse since he stepped into Morgantown. So, really, they just need to get better push up front. I thought, to be honest, people think I'm crazy, but the best the defense looked was against Virginia Tech, and just because they were attacking. They're not attacking. They're waiting for the ball to come to them. Getting 11 tackles is all good and all, but if it's 3, 4, 5 yards down the field, that's not getting off the field, and that's what they need to do. So I definitely have all the faith in the world in Tony. Again, I think he's the best at running this defense. I would hate to be on the defense this week. I absolutely would hate to be on it, because I guarantee they're all getting chewed out this week, and I have all the faith in the world. By the time it hits TCU, they will look a lot better.
That is excellent analysis, by the way, on your part, talking about they're not attacking, the fact that the tackles look great, but if they're downfield, then it really doesn't matter. But you're right, as far as getting chewed out, Bruce Tall is going to be all over that defense, the defensive line. I think a lot of it, too, is getting healthy. Like I said earlier, you missed this, but the people listening have heard this already. We had 5 guys out, 5 starters out. We're going to get, I believe Kaiser White is the best player on our team, and I include Mountain Greer in that. Including Mountain Greer, Kaiser White, I think, is even better than him. He's out for a significant portion of that Kansas game. You're going to suffer, especially in run defense, when he helps so much in that run support. Mike Daniels got hurt. Brendan Ferns, of course, not a starter, but provides depth. Toys Avery was still hurt, and, of course, David Long. So they're not going to be the best defense in the conference, but all those things are going to be better. And like you said, the bye week. Now, you mentioned that you're going to write an article. Where can we find that article?
It's going to be on WVNation.com. I'm hoping it'll be out here in the next couple of days. It's going to be before the weekend, and obviously we'll probably post it up a bunch throughout the week, so you won't miss it if you're following WVNation.com at WVU Sports 247 or our Facebook page. It's going to be up. So I know the defense has improved under Tony Gibson every time they've had a bye week. I know the second bye week last year, it's always been after the first bye week. Whatever he does, because if you think about it, again, they've had to replace 8 kids from last year.
Yeah.
They do it twice.
And then injuries.
They haven't had a chance to catch their breath as staff, as the team, anything. So they'll get to evaluate everything, put the guys out there. They've already started adjusting some things out there. Now, I think you're still going to see a big rotation at defensive line. And, you think about that fourth quarter, Lamont McDougal is in the backfield, runs down the quarterback, creates that fumble. A fresh defensive line in the fourth quarter is very, very, very huge, especially when we get down into November and you're playing teams like Oklahoma at the end of the year.
Now, talk about a fresh defensive line. Part of that comes from recruiting. I know, of course, we got a big one in Dante Stills. We had him on the show. We're excited about seeing that 4-star recruit in Morgantown. Can you give us any insight on who the other guys we have coming into play?
Well, football recruiting right now, it's been kind of, I want to say, boring in a sense.
Yeah. We had a big month, and then it went.
Yeah, the staff has done a great job. We have 16 commits right now, and you can really add 17 with the kicker we got a couple weeks ago with Siler Simcox. So we have 17 kids already coming next year. So that's I think for West Virginia, that's unprecedented.
Yeah,
to have that many commits. Now I was trying today, because I knew I was coming on, to see how many spots we had available. We only have 18 seniors, I believe, this year. Mm-hmm. So I do not know. Now, we did lose Durant. So we don't have that many more spots.
We lost Durant. We might lose Greer, but I don't think so. I don't believe we're going to lose Greer now.
Yeah. Now, you may lose Drayvon Henry. That one's still probably up in the air. He hasn't probably played good enough to get the – because before last year, I think coming in, he was, one of the best safeties in the country coming in at the scouts ruled at.
Yeah, he was a freshman All-American.
Yeah.
Then his sophomore year, he was going to be excellent by all people's account. Then he got hurt.
Yeah, so he couldn't play
first team but he still was first team All Big 12, preseason this year. So they have a lot of respect for him athletically.
Yeah, so you don't know exactly who you're losing at this point. But you want to talk, all right, so defensive line, if any of these kids are listening, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. I apologize in advance.
We're doing our best here.
We're trying. James Gimiter. I don't know how to pronounce it. Gmiter.
Yeah.
Defensive tackle, 6'3", 318 pounds.
Yeah, that's what we need, that beef.
He is going to be a beast in the middle. So I think there's another kid as a freshman next year coming in. He can automatically be in that rotation. Kid is huge, has a huge push up front. I mean, he's not the fastest, but when you're talking about nose tackle, someone like Mont McDougal who's wide, who can take on 2 or 3 guys
and tie up those blocks,
tie up those guards. That's what you need to get that defense successful, to get those linebackers running in the backfield. That's huge kid. Obviously, you already talked about Dante Stills. I think everyone knows about Dante Stills.
Number one recruit.
Obviously, I would almost say Trey Lowe, the quarterback, would be the number 1 recruit out of Tennessee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the kid can throw. We kind of have quarterback looking pretty good in the future right now with Trey Lowe. He committed early as well.
With a really cool commitment video too, right?
Yeah, Woodrow. I mean, this kid. I love this kid. I mean, he's going to come. If I wouldn't be surprised, you got Jack Allison coming, and then you got. I would say Lowe would have to almost redshirt, but he might be a backup. He might be so talented to come off. I would hate to lose a year of eligibility with that. But I'm getting sidetracked here.
I'm not helping. I'm sorry.
I told you I get excited about all the kids earlier today when we talked. I get excited. Y'all. So also on the defensive line, you got Tyrese Allen.
Yeah.
Another kid. This one's out of Paintsville, Kentucky. He's 6'3", 289. Another one that can clog up the middle. So not only do we have a lot right now that are still young, we're bringing in more. And I think one of the biggest things with the defensive line, we lost our whole starters last year. But the guys that are there, you got Schuler now, who's only a sophomore. He'll be a junior next year. And then you'll have Lamont McDougal. And then you bring in these freshmen who can probably step in right away and play. And then you don't forget Darius Stills, who's still there, who hasn't seen the field yet. And to me, he was underrated as a defensive end because I saw him play last year. The kid is legit. I wouldn't be surprised at some point. God forbid, we don't want injuries. We don't want injuries. But if he had to step in, he would do a great job stepping in. And for Dante, I saw Dante again last week. If he is listening, he knows he didn't have a very good game last week. He was very upset with himself against University High. So whoever they're playing this week, I feel bad for you. That kid's going to come out and kill y'all's team. And then you got Alex Williams, another defensive end, 6'5", 215. Love the height, getting those passing lanes.
Long
getting
arms.
The passing lanes, right? Yep, long arms, getting the passing lanes, knock the ball down. So one of the best things about I love this staff. Again, we're getting it done early, and they're finding guys that fit the system perfectly.
Yeah. That's what I like too. I like that they shuffled too. We're into Georgia now. Less focus on Florida, more focus on Georgia with Doug Belk. Tony Gibson is now the recruiting coordinator for the state of West Virginia, which I like the fact that he has that West Virginia connection. I think those are excellent. And for Belk and Gibson, it's paid dividends thus far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of talent in Georgia. I mean, you talk about Georgia. One of our problems we're having now is defensive back, and they've already got one commit out of Valdosta, Georgia, Jace Rogers, defensive back. Yeah. He's a little smaller, probably than you want as a defensive back, but the kid's quick and he's good.
He's a dog. I've seen him play.
Yeah,
on tape.
Yeah, obviously on tape. A lot of the kids they get, the whole star system or whatever, the 3-star, a lot of them could be 4 or 5 if they had a couple more inches maybe, or here and there, different situations. But you look at every kid. We have 17 if you count the kicker coming from Western Kentucky. All these kids fit the system well, and all these kids are really talented. And you've seen this year, you got Kenny Robinson moving at corner. A lot of them are talented enough that they can step in right away. There are some kids that I like that aren't commits. And I think that's what I kind of wanted to get with you on this. On your podcast today was the ones that we didn't have committed yet, ones that we're looking at, because I'm very interested this weekend. Again, I don't know how many spots we have left filled, so I'm kind of curious who all they're going to offer, because they did offer 2.
You know they can get creative.
They can get creative, but they've offered 2 in the past few weeks. The one kid I really liked, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, Jalen Jordan, a receiver from Florida, the IMG Academy, which is basically a football school.
Yeah, their factory.
A sports factory. What's very interesting, when I talked to him, his sister was coming up for women's basketball.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, she is... I
read your article. That's where I saw that.
Well, she actually committed to West Virginia.
Yeah.
So this kid, Jalen Jordan, he's 6'5", runs a 4.45 40. I love this kid. I mean, you put him on the outside with what we have already there, like Reggie Robertson, Javani Haskins. That core receivers right there with this kid, 6'5", he's huge. You can throw it up to him on the sidelines, and he runs that great deep post or a quick slant where he knows how to put his body in front of the defender and get to the ball. And he's fast. He can break tackles, physical on the outside, can block for your running backs. Love that kid. And really not too far from home, you got Tamon Cook from Graham High School from Bluefield, Virginia. Not Bluefield, West Virginia, right across the border, Bluefield, Virginia. Yeah. Now, they're recruiting him as an athlete. Now, they've told him that he could play either offense or defense. And if you see his highlight video, man, he has that little – he's shifty. I don't know how else to put it, but he is shifty. He makes 3-4 guys miss at once. I mean, kind of looks like Tavon out there on the field.
Hey, that's high praise, man. Be careful.
Yeah, it is very high praise, but that's what it looks like out there on the field. I'm telling you, this kid is unbelievable. Last year, I think it was like 20. He had 600 yards rushing, 600 yards receiving as a junior. This year, he's lighting it up. I'll have another article on him again. I just had one on him last week. I'm gonna have another one here in a couple weeks on his midseason stats. And he actually has West Virginia in his top 3 right now.
Nice.
He didn't post it on. We were the one that posted his top 3. He just recently got offered. He has Michigan State and Marshall on the other one. He's yeah, I know. Hater hears it. He is one. I think if as soon as he gets that official offer, he's coming. He can't wait to get up here for a visit. That would be a great kid because, look, if we need help at defensive back, the kid can play defense as well. He's fast. He can run people down. These long runs that you're seeing against West Virginia and these long pass plays, he'll run them down. There's no doubt of it. He's by far the fastest kid on the field every time he plays. Good. Have no doubt about it. One of the big things too, no junior college. There hasn't been a lot of junior college kids being talked about. I like one, Charlie Benton, out of El Dorado, Kansas. I forget the community college. I only got a couple of those, Bowling Green and Iowa State. The kid is fast, 6'2", 210-pound outside linebacker. I think we could use some quick help at the linebacker. Charlie Benton could fill that role pretty quick. I think they're kind of waiting to see what he does throughout the year. That might be an offer later on down the year to see what happens with some of these linebackers. Would love to see that kid come into play. Another one that's actually going to make his commitment date October 18th, TJ Banks. I believe he's out of I want to say the Pittsburgh area. I didn't write it down for some reason, but we're in his top 8 with Purdue, Pitt, Maryland, Syracuse, and Cincinnati. Athlete, 6'5", 245. Kid's a beast. He would absolutely fit in to West Virginia. I would like to see him actually line up at the slot. Kind of tight end, wide kind of situation, big body, put him over the middle. And I think he could also play linebacker. He's an athlete.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking more end or linebacker in that frame because we don't run a tight end much.
No, we don't. But we've got a couple tight ends that, there's TJ Ivy that's a tight end. It's already committed from Chicago. He could be that wide.
TJ Ivy's a transfer from Miami.
Yeah. So he could be the one that they actually go to.
The question I have for you is, and you can tell me if you're already going to go here, but Quantel Rains. What's the word on Quantel Rains out of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I was shaming him for last.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go
it's
ahead.
All good.
No. Skip that. But continue your process. We'll get to Quantel later.
All right. There's only a couple more kids left because, again, I don't know how many scholarships we have left. And, again, I'm kind of curious to see what happens this weekend because Holgerson did say at his press conference they were going to go visit all the commits that they have already. And I'm kind of curious to see what else pops up this weekend. Wouldn't be surprised if there was another commit this weekend. But Zacoby McClain, talk about just a force at linebacker. We're in his top 10. This will probably be a wait till signing day kid. Yeah, I mean, he's being offered from like LSU, Tennessee. Outside chance, I think we get him. Very outside chance. I don't know if we get him, but he comes in automatic playing time. I have no doubt about it. Zacoby McClain, absolute beast. And then obviously there is Blaine Scott. He was committed to Ole Miss. A lineman from Ohio. We have kind of hit Ohio up a little bit. It'd be good to add a little bit more depth to line. We already got a couple kids. And then obviously Quantel Rains. Very interesting with Quantel. I was just talking about him.
Quantel, I'm excited about the possibility. First of all, anytime there's a kid who's got us and Pitt in their list, we want to beat Pitt because, as we always say, we also hate Pitt.
Absolutely. We all hate Pitt. If you don't hate Pitt, come on now.
What are you doing?
What are you doing with your life? So, Quantel Reigns. Very interesting. So, with Quantel, Pitt was probably his favorite within the last couple weeks.
But now they're 1-3 and pathetic, and nobody shows up to their games, and he's realizing that is a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're gonna say?
Okay. And I don't know if he wants to go to Penn State either. More than likely, I believe with Quantel, he wants to play. With most kids, he wants to play right away. Kenny Robinson moving the corner frees up another safety spot.
Yeah.
You got Derek Pitts, but you're losing Marvin Gross, Kaiser White, and maybe Drayvon.
Yeah.
So like you said, Pitts 1-3. They had to go to overtime to beat Youngstown State.
So it could be 0-4 with a loss to Youngstown State. But anyway, we'll just be thankful for what we have so far.
So I would assume.
But I bet you they beat Clemson again this year.
They'll ruin someone's season.
They always do.
So he's going to Cincinnati this weekend. He's going to go to Cincinnati this weekend. I don't think Cincinnati has a shot. I mean, Cincinnati's really, really bad. They're playing Marshall. I mean, I can't imagine the atmosphere is going to be that great.
And not only that, they're a tiny school in a non-Power 5 conference.
Yeah. I
should say tiny school, but they're non-Power 5.
To me, it's really because he's from Aliquippa.
Yep.
Who
else is from Aliquippa? Tell them who else.
Oh, we got.
Well, for us, Drayvon Askew.
Yeah. Wasn't Mike Logan from Aliquippa? Major Harris?
No, Major Harris is from Brashear. Major Harris from Brashear.
Wasn't Logan from Aliquippa?
Maybe. I don't remember. I just know Drayvon is from Aliquippa. And normally, Aliquippa is Pitt country. Like, they normally get any kid from Aliquippa. That's why Drayvon was a big coup for us. Yeah,
and that could be the opening for Quantel if Drayvon leaves. And again, there's going to be spots open in that defensive backfield. So with the move with Kenny Robinson, I would say the possibility, because I honestly believe it's just us and Pitt at this moment. I really do believe that. And I think with that move with Kenny Robinson, he's looking at West Virginia a little differently now. Just a little bit more differently. So I can't wait to get him to Morgantown.
Who's recruiting him?
Get in.
Not the teams. Who's the coach that's recruiting him?
I believe it's. I think Deuce has talked to him, but I think Gibson is actually working on him as well.
Oh, gotcha.
I believe. I can't vouch for that 100%.
So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's a wait and see, but I really believe West Virginia's made strides with Kenny Robinson moving to cornerback with Quantel.
Man, I'm glad you dropped that knowledge on us. I know that I get excited about recruiting. Jeremy and I don't really do a lot of recruiting talk. That's not what we do. Our show, we feel like we are the pulse of Mountaineer Nation because we don't talk at people. We're talking with people. We want people to know that they can come on our show, they can talk to us, they can talk with us, they can voice their opinions, but we're not going to have the same information as what you just dropped on us. So we're grateful for that. We're grateful you came on and gave us all of the lowdown on the recruits. But the best thing about it is you're not even finished yet because we haven't even gotten to basketball recruiting.
No, definitely not finished yet. And we didn't even talk about all the commits, and I didn't want to get into all of them because there's a lot. So we can definitely talk about some basketball. So basketball, definitely an interesting situation in basketball as well.
Well, especially with Asa finally having the official word he's out for half the season, Brandon Napper injury, Macon leaving, and the season's by the time this comes out, the season will only be 43 days away. People are getting excited about basketball. So any news is good news. Well, any news is interesting news, I should say.
Yeah, so as of right now, I believe West Virginia has 4 scholarships on the basketball team open after this year because you're only losing Dax and Javon. So unless Issa leaves, which is a possibility at this point that Issa may leave after junior year, then you have 5. But right now, obviously, the only commit that we have that's written in stone is Jordan McCabe. Obviously, we all know about Jordan McCabe. A lot of people compare him to Jason Williams that played at DuPont High School. I think, personally, he's a better shooter than I think Jason Williams was. Jason Williams, I didn't think really got it, his stroke until later on in his career. I think he's a better shooter. I don't know if he's as good as a ball handler because Jason, I mean, he was I saw him play in high school.
All-time great.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great ball handler in high school as well. So Jordan McCabe's going to be there. I'm unfortunately with most highlights, especially with basketball, we don't get to see him. He's from Wisconsin, so I haven't got to go watch him play.
Yeah.
It's a highlight. You don't get to see defense. We all know Huggins and defense. You don't play defense, you don't play.
But he doesn't play defense. According to everybody who's seen him, that's something he's got to improve on. Yeah. But I'm not worried about it because you'll play defense if you're going to play for Bob Huggins, and he's completely aware of where he's coming and who he's playing for.
Yeah, absolutely. We had him on our show. Great kid. A lot of fun to have on the show, for sure. And he's ready for the challenge. So we got Jordan McCabe. What hasn't transpired yet is we all know what happened to Derek Culver. He's going to prep school. He says he's still committed to West Virginia. So he would be part of that 2018-2019 recruiting class next year. So if he still stays committed, then you still have Culver in your back pocket for next year.
Nice.
So you still have a couple more if Issa stays. There's a few. Now we got Jermaine Harris. We're in his top 8, 6'8", 210 power forward.
And he was at the Delaware State game.
Yeah, he was at the Delaware State game. This kid is athletic. He can jump through the roof. Bob Huggins has found his groove on who he wants, in his program. This kid would fit in perfect with the press. He's long, lean, athletic, fast. Would definitely have to work on his offensive game, but I think his defensive game is already there. So that's one. He's got Miami, which we all know now is in trouble. Kansas, Maryland, Xavier, South Carolina, I believe Rhode Island in his top 8. So
and you can never tell with college basketball. Any school can get any kid, it seems like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Lamar Odom went to Rhode Island.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Beasley went to Kansas State. I mean, you really don't know with these kids.
Yep, absolutely. And then you got Anthony Nelson, a point guard from Connecticut. He's really strong on West Virginia right now. He's 6'4" point guard. That's big, obviously, for a point guard. He would be a great addition coming in for the guards. You're losing Javon Carter. You can bring him. Brandon Apper obviously got hurt. He would come in at the same time. Then you still have Beetle Bolden as well. I don't think you can never have enough point guards. Just my opinion. Anyone that can bring the ball up the floor can handle anything. That's what you want. And then we also recently offered Trey Dooms. I think, again, probably butchered the poor kid's name. A shooting guard, 6'3", 190-pound shooting guard from Florida. That's really who I got that they're looking at right now. Basketball hasn't really picked up. They've lost some kids. I think there was Luther Muhammad just committed to Ohio State. So losing him recently was kind of a blow for West Virginia. So I expect Huggins. You'll probably see right before season a few more offers pop up from Huggins.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, we're appreciative of the fact that you could come on and enlighten us and give us something to look forward to, players to pay attention to, and basically just update us on what's going on in Mountaineer Nation.
Absolutely, man. No problem. Definitely come on. Again, very proud of this football program, of how well they've handled recruiting. Again, it's been boring lately. Just because it seems to me they're about wrapped up with it already. It's just about a matter of time just to put the pen on paper kind of deal and get these kids here next fall.
And we have the early signing period, so maybe December will be good to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I should have wrote them down for you guys, but
no, it's okay.
It
gives us a reason to have you on maybe next time for the next bye week.
Absolutely. Hopefully we don't have a bye week rest season because we'll be in the Big 12 championship. But
yes, good. That's even better.
But anyway,
that's what I meant, by the way. That's what I meant.
Anyway, yeah, I think a lot of I should have had it written down for you guys. A lot of these kids are available to come enroll in early. So that's obviously we know how important that is in college football. You've seen it with a lot of these kids. Derek Pitts, I believe, got to do it. Tevin Bush. So it definitely pays dividend to get you on the field early, to get these kids in early.
All right, Chris. Well, appreciate you. Tell the people where they can find you again, and And that'll be that. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at WV Hallbilly. It's WVHALLBILLY. And you can get all of our articles at WVU Sports 247, WVNation.com. And it's a free site. And we talk to the kids. You want to keep updated, just come on to our site.
That's right. It's a free site. You can go see what's going on. They do good work. They work very hard, and we respect them for what they do. We thank them for what they give the Mountaineer Nation. Hats off to y'all, and we'll holla at you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh, hey.
Obviously, we'll have more fun in the future. Every time we meet up, it's a good time.
And don't forget. Let me hear it. Let me get your sign off. And don't forget.
I also hate Pitt.
Boom. There it is. We out. Thanks for listening and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Check the links in the description for all our other media outlets.
And no matter what you do, no matter what you heard, no matter what we said, don't forget, we also hate Pitt.